What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Show and Tech. So the whole idea behind this video kind of came about organically because I'm a huge fan of the D-Brand Icons release and an even bigger fan obviously of Marques Brownlee, aka MKBHD. So when he released that third colorway of his icon skin that looks like this guy right here, I was probably one of the first people to go ahead and order it because I thought it would look amazing on my M1 MacBook Air. So when it came in the mail, I didn't waste any time. I slapped it on my MacBook as quickly as possible, and it actually turned out to look amazing. So in my excitement, I took probably the worst product photo that I've ever taken. I think I put the MacBook like on my lap. I was sitting in the living room, terrible lighting, snapped the photo on my iPhone, and then decided to throw it up on Twitter with this tweet right here. Now, I don't have a very large Twitter following. It's almost comical actually how small it is when you compare it to my YouTube channel. Like I have zero conversion back and forth, but that's a story for another day. So basically after I threw this up, I was expecting, maybe one like, maybe two, or like a comment or something like that. And I noticed that my phone had buzzed. So I picked it up and I see a Twitter notification. I click on it and it brings up the list of people that have liked my tweet. And at the time it was sitting at 10 likes. So I'm just looking at the names and all the names seem familiar, but then one of them seemed way too familiar. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, Marques Brownlee, that's interesting. And then I finally click on it. I'm like, yeah, there's the verified tag and there's a ton of people following this account. This actually might be him. And it's crazy how this little tiny interaction of him probably tapping a heart on a tweet and then going about his day turned into a very interesting 48 hours for me. So a lot of people are about to see what I just threw up on Twitter. That tweet within, I think it was about 12 hours, I checked the amount of impressions, which is just, I guess, the amount of timelines that it's hit. And within that 12 hours, it had already made 200,000 impressions. So it had hit 200,000 timeline. So the next day I wanted to take a second shot at what I was coining the MKBHD effect. And I threw up this second tweet right here with screenshots of the crazy statistics from the night before. And even though the impressions were a lot less at like 97,000, the amount of people that actually clicked on that second tweet rose to around 27,000 people, turned into like 500 something likes, a whole bunch of retweets. Like it was insanity. But all that aside, I think the part that I found the most interesting about this whole experience is that, having that viral tweet, if you want to call it that, how many like strangers just come out of nowhere and are so negative and spewing hate towards you over, using Twitter the way that it was intended to be used. So I had somebody DM me saying that I'm a clout chaser. I had a guy DM me saying, stop worrying so much about MKBHD. Your channel's too small. He doesn't want to work with you anyways. I had somebody tell me, you can stop now because when I search MKBHD, your name already pops up as a top tweet. So like quit while you're ahead type thing. Like it just made no sense to me that all these negative comments were coming in because I was using Twitter the way that it was meant. But then at the end of the day, I was thinking like, why can't I be a fan of, somebody who looks like me and has similar interests to me and was one of the main reasons or one of the big influences as to why I decided to start my own YouTube channel. And yeah, in the second tweet, I made a comment about wishing that I can sit down and have a conversation with Marques, but why wouldn't I want to speak to someone that has, interest in ultimate frisbee like I do, and golf and tech and the NBA and all of those things? Like to me, that just makes sense. And even if you never saw the tweet or watches this video, why should that be a deterrent to show the appreciation and the respect that I have for him? Like it sounds corny, but Kanye West said, if you admire somebody, you should go ahead and tell them, because people never get the flowers while they can still smell them. And that always resonated with me because we're so quick to avoid telling people what we think or how much we respect and appreciate them until something happens and they're gone or going to be gone. You're not clout chasing by showing someone that you appreciate them. You're not clout chasing by showing someone that you respect what they contribute to this YouTube space or the tech space or to just the world in general. Like there's nothing wrong with telling somebody that you appreciate and respect and admire the things that they do. And we're so fortunate to live in 2021 where we have access to the internet and, your one like or one comment or one post away from being able to talk to somebody that really, really influences your life, or someone that you have a true vested interest in. Like, all it takes is making that one post, and maybe they don't see it, but maybe they do. You never know what's going to happen. And I think that's what makes this whole Twitter thing, this whole experience that I've had over this last couple of days, I think that's what makes it so interesting. What was just a simple action of liking a tweet and probably going about his day for him turned into something that was so much bigger for me. Because here's a guy that I've idolized, and I've watched tons of his videos and used him for recommendations on things that I bought for myself. And having that little interaction, whether he knows it or not, ended up being huge. That, and it was really cool to be able to tweet something that I know almost 500,000 people saw. Like, that was a really cool experience in itself. But anyway, that's it for me. That's enough rambling. Like I said, this video kind of came about organically. This was not planned at all. So big shout out to MKBHD for being able to provide all this hype that created this video, whether he knows it or not. I truly, truly appreciate it. That's it for me. Much love as always. Throwing up 2 of them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.